Hello and welcome to the Home Education Podcast.uk. You're probably thinking to yourself, it doesn't sound the same as usual, what's going on? Well, Sarah, Frogger, Toad, Baby G have all gone to Centre Parks for the week with their grandparents. We decided that I would have a go at doing the podcast. And in trying to do so, I've realised that I am not that educated in home education. I don't actually know much about it. So I've done a little bit of reading today, trying to find a subject to talk about, but I can't deny I'm fairly ignorant on the subject. Not being involved day in and day out in the actual education of the children, it's quite difficult to talk about it. I wonder how many fathers out there from home-educated families are involved in the education process. There's probably families out there where the father is the main home educator and the mother goes out to work, which is, I wonder just how many there is. I wish people would, can somebody email us, let us know. Are you a mother that goes out to work and the father is the home educator, or vice versa? I would like to know the demographics of that, really. And I would certainly be interested in knowing about other fathers that are a part of home education families. I don't really know many. I have been to a couple of meetings with Sarah and the kids, but they haven't really been true home education meetings. I haven't socialised with anyone really particularly, or at least I haven't got to know them. Sarah has quite a lot because she obviously is the main education giver, and so she goes out quite regularly to meet friends or people who have become friends, home educators, meet them, and the kids are friends with their kids. And I think that's a really great way to be. There's plenty of groups around us. I say around us. Within like a 30 or 40 mile radius of us, there's a few groups. We live in the middle of North Yorkshire in a small village. So there's not many people around us that are home educated. Actually, talking about that, I did read a headline today which said, now what did it say? It was something like, in London, home educated families the amount of home educated families has risen by 580 something percent. I took it as just being 6 times more than there was 10 years ago. So it does seem that there is a trend where home education is becoming less unusual. It's still unusual, I think, but it's less unusual. Slowly becoming normalised. I wouldn't go as far as normal, but it's becoming normalised. Perhaps in another 10 years, who knows what it'll be like. Who knows what the education system will be like in 10 years' time. Maybe we'll all have them back at school because it's so good. Doubt that, though. Anyway, I was just trying to work out how other fathers feel about home education. Me, I am still scared. I know we've discussed this before on the podcast, but I am still a bit scared about it. I just don't know. Would the kids be better off in the school that they were in? They weren't being bullied. The school was fairly good. I know that Toad was struggling with his reading, but he's only 6 now. Well, he's six and a half on Christmas Day, as he would probably tell you. He was struggling with his reading, but a year ago that was. I think that's fine. And they weren't pushing him particularly hard, and we kind of wanted them so that he didn't fall behind. But then everything about home education tells you don't push your children. So they were probably all right. They were probably doing a very good job. So yes, I don't know whether home education in all cases is the best idea or not. I wonder if you could give me some examples. Can someone ring up or email us, I should say. Email me or leave a comment or something and tell me your most positive reasons for home educating. I've seen a lot of the negative reasons on various forums, and there's a lot of bitterness out there for the education system where it's let people down. I can totally understand that, but I want to hear the positive reasons that people are home educating. I know a lot of the Olympic athletes, the younger ones, I think they started at 16, didn't they, the younger ones? A lot of those had been home educated because there was no other way of getting their training schedules done and educating them. It's fair enough, I can understand it, and that's kind of normal under that circumstance. But I would really, really like to hear the positive reasons, the pro reasons why people are home educating. Please let me know. I need to hear this. Now, I'm not against home educating at all. In fact, quite the opposite. I know my kids are flourishing. And I've read various things which say that kids shouldn't really be away from their parents till they're 10 or 12 years old. And that taking them away from their parents at 5 years old, or a lot less now, could actually scar the children and make them into worse people. Now, whether this is true or not, or whether this is just something that I read, who knows? But I do feel that kids should be around their parents a lot more. And you hear the issue of socialisation a lot. Socialisation at a school, well, the kids don't socialise with teachers. Hopefully, at any rate, they treat their teachers respectfully, but they don't chummy up with their teachers, do they? They chummy up with their peers, which is usually people that are at the same age, maybe a year older or a year younger, but generally within that very narrow band. Surely this isn't normal. Home-educated kids, at least those that are socialised, will daily talk to people that are much older than them, much younger than them, people their parents' age, people grandparents' age. They will talk to a wide variety of people, not just children the same age. And I think that this is probably a much better way of producing a well-rounded adult. Because that's our aim, is to produce a well-rounded adult at the end of the day. Anyway, enough of my waffling on. Let's join Sarah Frogger-Toad last week when we went to Flamingo Land.
Yesterday we went on a very special trip to Flamingo Land, which is a theme park and zoo near Pickering in North Yorkshire. We went on a special day out there that was for home educators and was run by the education team at the zoo. So, hi Baby J. Yes, Baby J went along too. So, Frogger, can you talk to us about the Meet a Creature workshop?
Well, we went there, and there were three creatures. There was a snake, some sort of hedgehog, which is actually related to a hedgehog, and a giant African snail.
And which one was your favourite? Because the lady who was running it, she told us a little bit of information about it. So she told us about a corn snake, about how it took them 9 days to digest what they ate. So they only ate every 9 days. And also allowed everybody to have a hold as she went around. You didn't have to if you didn't want to. So which was your favourite?
The snail! The African snail.
The giant African land snail. Toad, what did it feel like? Slimy. What was your favourite one, Toad?
The snake and this kind of hedgehog.
Yeah, what was the hedgehog actually called?
I don't know.
It looked like a hedgehog, but it had the nose of a kind of a vole. Do you remember, Paul?
Was it something like a tenric? Or
a tenric, yeah.
It was a tenric. Well done, Baba.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, it was. They're very interesting creatures that do look a lot like hedgehogs, but in fact are not hedgehogs. So they were pretty cool. There's a few of us in there. And it was nice to have a hands-on approach. We all had to be very quiet whilst we were in there. Why did we have to be quiet?
And so we didn't scare the animals. The snake.
That is true.
snake
We didn't want to
especially.
scare any of the animals. So after we'd been in the Meet the Creature workshop, we then went along and had a private tour of the zoo. A private tour because we were the only ones there. So we had a one of the education team all to ourselves. And she led us through the zoo, telling us key facts about all of the different animals in there. Toad, what was your favourite animal that we saw?
The what do you call it?
Any clues? Can you describe it?
The rhino.
The rhinos, there were 2 rhinos, and they basically eat all day long, but they can run up to 30 miles an hour,
An hour.
which is pretty surprising. And do you remember what the lady said about their horns?
They were made out of hair. Well, not out of hair, but something which does grows in hair.
No, it was out of hair.
Was it?
Yeah, they're made out of the same stuff that grows your hair, that your hair is made of, and your nails as well. And they keep on growing all of their lives. So the rhinos have to kind of sand their noses down, otherwise they wouldn't be able to see, because eventually they'd have a conker as big as them.
Yeah, apparently they have to put on the spike themselves, sharpen the spike on the end of their horns. Otherwise it would just be a big blobby horn.
A big
Horn.
blob horn. Yeah, so the what was really nice is that because it was quiet and the rhinos were really close to us, so we could see them very clearly. Froggy, what was your favourite animal?
Can I just have a little think of what she showed us?
Of course you can. Paul, what was your favourite animal?
Oh, can I just have a little think about what she showed us?
No.
Okay, well, in that case, it was definitely, without any shadow of a doubt, the baboons are always a favourite.
Oh yeah, and the baboons and giraffes.
Giraffes and hippos and...
I was going to say that the giraffes were my favourite because we were so close to them. And they had a couple of babies with them as well, even though the babies were ginormous. But I never realised how interesting giraffes are. And apparently, if you ever play Old MacDonald and you run out of farm animals, as everybody does every now and again, and you move on to zoo animals and somebody says giraffe, you might be a little bit muddled up as to what kind of noise they actually make. And the noise that they make is inaudible to us humans, so the giraffe experts reckon. So we decided that the giraffes might make a high-pitched grunting noise that we can't hear, so instead they like to stick their tongues out a lot. So we decided on Lick Lick. Anything that you'd like to add about the baboons?
They had very shiny bums.
Why?
And they were very red
Can anybody remember why they had red bums?
to show off.
Yeah, they did, didn't they?
And they screamed when the ladies went off because they loved sitting with, and the men because the men love sitting with the babies.
With the ladies, yeah, they do,
That's-
don't they? They have about, was it 4 or 5 females that are a part of their little troops? Is that right, Sarah?
Yes, it is. They the stronger males attract the big bright bottomed females and they sit down with them, so the ladies kind of follow them around everywhere. And sometimes when they get really, really old, the ladies will gradually disappear and find younger, stronger baboons. So the interesting thing about the baboons is that some of the baboons, the males, are very furry. They have kind of a grey afro, and the females have a browny colour and slightly less afro kind of style fur. Yes, Frogger?
Just going back to when Toad said baby, there was actually a baby baboon there.
There was. It was very cute. Just sat down near its mother and the rest of the tribe.
Oh, it was very, very cute, that, wasn't it?
Would you call that a tribe?
Troop?
Troop, tribe.
I'm not sure.
Have you decided what your favourite animal was?
Meerkats.
The meerkats.
They were pretty awesome.
Meerkat madness.
Meerkat Madness, a book that we are reading by Ian Wybrow. It's also teaching us lots about meerkats. What's your favourite thing about meerkats?
How they sort of stick as a team. So one of them looks out for danger, and the rest go hunting for food. And then eventually they take turns in doing that.
Yes, that's right. There is a term for that called sedentary. No. It's something like that.
Sentry duty?
Yes, that's it, the sentry duty. So one of them always watches out, and you can see them twitching all the time. So they're listening to everything, and they'll sound an alarm to the others who are picking out lots of nice juicy scorpions and insects that are underneath the sand. They're digging in the dirt, and that way the whole pack takes turns of eating and watching, so they all stay safe and they know when to dive into their burrows. So yeah, they were pretty good creatures. Unfortunately, we didn't see the lions and the tigers. They were hiding from us. But we did see some red pandas. They were very cute. Look a little bit like raccoons.
They were related to raccoons, I believe, weren't they?
That's
Rather
why they
than
look like raccoons.
bears. So they're not actually true pandas, although they are the original pandas, the lady told us.
Yes, she did. They were called pandas before the giant pandas were even discovered and named. So that was quite interesting. They are exceptionally cute.
So pandas, what we think of, aren't actually true pandas.
Yeah. Interesting. How the world can be flipped upside down
Just
on a visit to the zoo.
those
Mind
hokey-dokey
blowing.
Victorians with their terrible descriptions, I think that's what it is, isn't it?
The Victorians have got a lot to answer for. And a lot to be respected for as well. It was a good time. Okay, moving on. So we did the tour of the zoo, and then we played in the adventure play park. That was good fun. We all got a little bit wet, but we were prepared, weren't we? We had our rain suits on, so we didn't get too wet. I think we all saw some and learned about some new creatures. There were lots of other talks going on during the day. There was some about the rainforest and others about caring for animals. Unfortunately, because of the ages of our children, we decided that would be a little bit too much. But if you are interested, please do contact the education team at Flamingoland, because they are interested in running more days, and there were children there of all ages, and there's something for older children as well, and they're keen to get home educators involved, and we'll be doing another day soon. So do have a look on their website and contact them and find out, because it's a big reduced rate compared to the normal entry price. You can also pay a little bit extra if you want to go on to all of the rides. We didn't do that, but we did have a full day, and our day finished with a special show from a certain Toad.
My other favourite animal was the sea lions.
Tell us about the sea lion show.
Well, the first one, called Merlin, was catching balls.
Yeah, on his nose.
Yeah. So he was sort of so the lady was like throwing the ball into the water, and he dived in and got the ball and balanced it on his nose and took it out carefully and back, and he went back to his perch. Yeah, and he did a backward somersault.
Yeah, from inside the water, and he'd finish off with a little slide, a bit like those boys that you always see at weddings that suddenly go diving on their knees into the middle of the dance floor. Woo! That's what Merlin was doing after his slide.
And there was a target, and Merlin was trying to get it with his nose, and he went into the water with the target.
He did go in the water with the target, yeah, because everywhere the lady went with the yellow stick, he followed it.
It was like a magnet.
I thought she was really good with her throws.
She was great, actually. She was obviously a very enthusiastic presenter and trainer.
Yeah, she was very good. She was entertaining, she was clear, she was informative, and obviously very experienced in what she was doing. She looked very, very comfortable with the sea lions, in particular, because sea lions themselves, I wouldn't want to get up and close to one because they can bite. But this second one that came out, what was his name?
I can't remember.
Clive, thank you, Frogger. How heavy was Clive?
About 40 stone.
40
Wow.
stone, and he was ginormous, but a very regal looking elderly seal. He did a few tricks as well.
Sea lion.
What did I say?
Seal.
Seal. They do look a bit like seals.
Well, they live in the sea and they're mammals and they look like dogs, let's be honest.
They are a
Big-
lot like
big
dogs,
fatty
and the
dogs.
tricks were like dogs, big fat dogs, which are incredibly graceful in the water. But yes, the sea lions, I forgot what I was saying about the sea lions, but he was so graceful in the water that he managed to propel himself upwards and out of the water to touch a target of a ball that was hanging down. He was really good. There are some people that probably think that it's not very good to go to a sea lion show because there may be, or any kind of shows involving animals, but these creatures have been bred in captivity, and they did have a lot of space, and they got a lot of time off as well. I'm not too sure. I can't really tell you much more about the ethics of that. But it was a good show, but they were constantly rewarded, and they definitely weren't cruelly treated.
No, definitely not. The animals look very happy.
Yeah, they did. So well done to Flamingo Land for putting that show on.
And-
Is there any... Yes,
And Clive also did a very graceful clap.
he did have a very graceful clap. It was off to the side like a lady. Like a lady I could imagine sat in a carriage. Like the Queen would clap. He had a Queen's clap. Queen's clap. Okay. Is there anything anyone else would like to add about our zoo trip?
For me, I really, really enjoyed the lunchtime show.
The pirate show. you
Hi,
mean?
Baby G.
We didn't mention that.
Oh,
already,
of course. I forgot about the pirate show. How could I forget about the pirate show? Okay, tell me about the pirate show, Paul.
Well,
Pirate
I think
Paul. Arr.
Frogger was probably the most enthusiastic. Well, me and Toad, we were sat there and we just watched it a little bit. We were like, whoa, there's a show going on. And then we got closer, didn't we? We got closer. We kept moving tables to get closer. But Frogger, who does gymnastics, her mouth was wide open because some of the acrobats during the show were awesome. There was a lady on a hoop doing somersaults, and there was two guys doing handstands off each other and all sorts of things going on.
Yeah.
There was singers and dancers, and it was just a lunchtime show. It was very funny and
Yeah, funny, entertaining. It was a bit kind of like a pantomime snippet, about 30 minutes of tongue-in-cheek entertainment. And there was a cannon fire went off. And, of course, everybody in the audience got soaked a couple of times, which is something that always guarantees to be successful. So that was great. That was free. It is something that is new to Flamingo Land. It wasn't there last time we went. So there is a lot to do at Flamingo Land because of the zoo and because of the entertainment. There is a lot to learn, a lot more than if you were to compare it to Alton Towers or Thorpe Park. At least I think they have all of their rides and it's a great day out, but education wise you can't really beat Flamingo Land. And the team were excellent. All the staff were very helpful, very informative, and we all had a very great day out. Is there anything you'd like to add to that, Frogger?
This might not be appropriate to add, but we went into the shop and Rowan brought a sloth to learn about, because Mum said we could learn about any sort of animal that we could find in the shop, we could buy that with our money, our money in our bank. I bought a turtle or a tortoise, whichever I wanted to be.
It was a
Mum brought
tortoise.
sloth.
There's a big difference. What's the difference between turtles and tortoises?
Tortoise likes the sun. Turtles don't. They like to swim in the water.
Turtles are in the water.
But
That's
it is
right.
a turtle, Mummy.
It's not a turtle. I thought you bought a tortoise.
Turtle.
Okay.
looks like a tortoise to me.
I think it's a turtle.
It hasn't got flippers.
Wait, you could use your imagination. It could be either. That's fine. But yes, a slight point that Frogger has made there is that the children were allowed to buy a souvenir from the shop as long as that souvenir would lead them to a little bit of their own research. So here we go. We've got a whole topic of learning just from a day out from the zoo, and we're going to continue our learning with something that the children are interested in. So Toad has picked a sloth and Frogger has picked a tortoise. So we are going to continue our learning by researching about them. Overall, we had a fantastic day and we would definitely recommend it to others. As I said, do get in touch with the education team and enjoy a fun day out with the entire family at Flamingo Land.
Well, thanks for that, gang. And hopefully you'll be back soon. You'll definitely be back for next week at any rate. Now, as I said earlier on, I realised I wasn't particularly knowledgeable in home education. I didn't know what to talk about, and I still don't. But I sent out a tweet this morning asking for ideas of what to talk about. Not a single person replied, unfortunately. Maybe we don't have enough followers, or maybe I sent it at the wrong time of day. The social networking side of things does seem to be a bit of a minefield. But either way, I put out a call and nobody replied. Now, I do the social networking for all of the Home Education podcast, and I've noticed we don't get much in the way of response from anything. What we would really like is for some people to participate in the show a little bit. Send us some suggestions, some comments, anything. Review us on iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you find us. YouTube even, I think we're on there now. We would just like to hear from people. We know that people are downloading the podcast. Who are you? Let us know. We would really like to talk to you or about you or answer your questions. Anything. Let us know who you are. If you want to contact us, you can get us on our website. There's like a comment section on each of the podcasts. You can get us at thehomeeducationpodcast.uk, or you can email us at thehomeeducationpodcast@gmail.com. Find us on Twitter at HomeEdPodcast, all one word, HomeEdPodcast. Or you can get us on Facebook at facebook.com/thehomeeducationpodcast.uk. Anyway, put some likes up or get the word out that we're here. If you're enjoying us, let us know. If you think we're rubbish, you probably won't reply to this because you probably haven't listened this far into the programme. So that's fine. But if you've got any constructive criticism, that'd be great to hear from you. We would love to hear from you. Just somehow get in touch. I did notice that it's International Podcast Day. I think it's on the 30th. What day is that? Let me just check. Yeah, Friday. Friday is International Podcast Day. And I looked very briefly at it and I thought, oh, that sounds interesting. Maybe we could do something for it. But it sounds like it's an award for podcasts who have the most international reviews. So I thought to myself, ooh, let's see if we've got any reviews from abroad or anywhere. And I looked and I looked and I looked. We haven't got a single review anywhere on the internet. Boo. But that's fine. We don't really need your acclamation. But it'd be really nice to have it. Acclamation? Acclaim? Yeah, I think that might be right. It would be really nice to have it. I know Sarah doesn't really put much of an ask out there, but I do the demographics and I do the social networking side of things, and I would really like to see who's listening. Talk to us, please. Get involved. We might have you on the show. At least we'll include something to do with you on the show. Please let us know. Anyway, that's about all we've got time for today. I think I've managed... Oh, have we managed half an hour? Wow, I've done well then. I am definitely not a born radio presenter. And so I apologise for you having to put up with me. And I rest assured, Sarah will be back next week with a normalised show. Maybe she'll have something to do with Centre Parks. Who knows? I haven't got a clue. Anyway, I better get editing this now and get it up online. And hopefully, it's Wednesday the 28th now. It'll be up online by midnight tonight. See you later.